Hey everyone, Matt here. Wanted to do a video discussing fear and how most of the things that you want in life is on the other side of fear. I know that's kind of like a common saying, everything you want's on the other side of fear, and that's all well and nice, but then, that doesn't really do anything for anybody, right? So, what they mean when they say what you want is on the other side of fear is that fear is literally what stops us in so many of the situations where we're trying to make something happen in our lives. And I think a lot of it has to do with kind of the instant gratification mentality that we have nowadays. People just think that they should, or people think that they deserve whatever without putting in their time or due diligence or whatever, and lose sight of the fact that there's a lot of people who actually did put in their time and did a lot of hard work to get to where they're at. And just because somebody looks snazzy or something like that doesn't necessarily mean that they didn't put their time in. So what you want's on the other side of fear, right? So whenever you're running into a situation, whatever it is, whether you're trying to pick up the phone to call somebody, whether you're going to go for a job interview, whether you want to go ask a girl out or vice versa, or, any of that stuff, there's usually fear tied in some part to that. And the more that you have a fear about something, from my experience, means that that's something that you really need to address and push past. So I used to have a lot of fear when it came to talking to people. If you told me 10, 15 years ago that I'd be making videos and putting them out to people to see, I would have told you were insane, because I had no interest in doing anything like that. But part of getting over my fear was I did some work at a place where I had to be on the phone talking with people all day long. And these particular people were looking for help, and if you didn't give them very good help, they had no problem letting you know how and what they thought about you. So for me, it worked out pretty good just to rip the Band-Aid off and start taking phone calls. And did I bomb on some of them? Absolutely. But it also helped me to discover that, I came out the other side alive, and I really wasn't any worse for wear, other than a lot of stress that I had put myself through that was not necessary. And that experience has kind of helped lay the groundwork, so to speak, for whenever I run into a situation where I've got a lot of fear or anxiety about doing something. That's where I've kind of recognized, all right, it's time to flip that switch. I've got this feeling going on right now about this situation. This means I need to dive in and crank it out. So don't let fear deter you from whatever it is that you want in life. As soon as you start getting that anxiety and you're going to change whatever it is you're going to do because you didn't want to experience whatever it is that you were fearing, that is the moment that you need to be diving into it and going forward, as opposed to walking away from it. So right here we got, his name's Pinky. That's one of our barn cats that we got, and they're both pretty young. They're twins. We got them not too long ago, but it was not long ago that these guys were so small they couldn't climb up into the tree. They would kind of jump up onto the trunk down there and kind of hang out for a minute and jump down. But the older they get, the bigger they get, the more confident they get. And at this point, as you can see, he's just climbing around on the tree like a little monkey. So the reason that I bring that up is because they had to get past their fear to be able to climb up into the tree. Now, I know that it's not really that big of a deal to us, but for some reason they think it's a big deal to be able to climb into a tree. And these same principles apply to us in our lives. And basically, whenever we get in a situation where we're struggling to get what we want, but we're not willing to go do whatever it is because of fear, that's when we're not going to get what we want. So we have to get past the fear. I guess an example of how you can overcome your fears is something that happened to me was I had a position that I was working in, and I had to basically get up in front of a group of skeptical people and explain to them this new technology that we were going to be using in the company, and I was kind of the one to introduce them to it and somewhat sell it. And for starters, I'm not the type of person to stand up in front of a group of people, and just being around a lot of people in generally makes me anxious, I guess, just because of my personality or whatever. But anyways, so I had to get up there and do this, and so I'd kind of been dreading it, but I felt pretty good and confident about the whole thing because I was in the middle of what was going on, so I knew what I was talking about. And as I got up there, I remember just this huge wave of anxiety came over me as I was getting ready to get up there, because that was when my fear started kicking in. That was when fear showed up for me. And I remember it was right in that moment where I came to the realization that I was either going to have kind of like a weird freak out breakdown right in front of a whole bunch of people, or get over it and focus on what I needed to and get it done. And so fortunately I was able to kind of switch my internal dialogue away from, oh my God, I'm standing in front of a big group of people, to focusing on what I needed to about up in front of those people, and I got it down and it went over pretty much without a hitch. So if you're in a situation where you're feeling that fear and anxiety kick in, just, if you can, focus, switch over, and keep your internal dialogue on what it is that you're needing to do in that moment. Basically the thing that's causing the fear, right? So just switch your internal focus on it. And if you keep jumping back to whatever's causing the fear in your internal dialogue, realize that is happening again and switch back over. It's not something that just happens and stays there. At least for me, you gotta kind of keep track of it, and sometimes it'll kick in and start working you over again, but then you realize it and you make a correction and try to maintain your thinking and focus in the area that's making you more not fearful, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So hope this helps you guys get past that fear, move on to whatever it is you want in life. That's a huge part of it. Nobody else can do it but you. Thanks guys, have a good one.